I'm faster, I'm more secure than you'll ever be. I'm faster, I'm cheap, and my name is XRP. Everybody buys surprise in my pocket. Everybody buys surprise XRP. Everybody buys surprise incoming. Everybody gotta just wait and see. I get everybody buys surprise in my pocket. Everybody buys surprise XRP. Everybody buys surprise incoming. Everybody gotta just wait and see. I get everybody buys surprise with my money. Everybody buys surprise XRP. Everybody buys surprise incoming. Everybody gotta just wait and see.
So, wir sind noch ein bisschen früh, deshalb erzähle ich noch ein bisschen von meinen Ferien. Oder wie lange geht's noch, bis Viertel nach ist? Schauen wir mal. Und auf Englisch. I will talk in English today. Okay, so in 30 seconds we will start. Okay. Again, problems with my internet connection. Hold on, streaming. So, hello everyone, let's get started. Sorry, I had to break the... It looks like I have chocolate here, I'm sorry, but it isn't. I just ate chocolate. I think it's just my beard growing weird. I have no financial advice, I have no financial interests, and I don't want no donations, please. And I updated all my videos to not be for kids anymore, which means comments are re-enabled and the live chats as well. Quick update on my vacation. Last week we were in actually the location we were is called La Zuma, but it's in the Verbier ski resort, and in La Zuma is pretty in the like there is no sun light almost all day in this time of the year. The sun cannot get over the mountain, so that was a bit the bummer. But I went skiing twice. First time on Sunday because it was nice weather. I thought, okay, let's do it. I brought my skis with me for this. Let's do it. But I mean, I'm a pain in the ass. After an hour, my legs were soaring already. Unbelievable. So I had to slow down a little bit, and after another hour, I actually had to break. I was like, no more energy. And then I had like 3 days in a row, like my muscles, I hardly could get upstairs or stand up from a chair or so. Oh, that pain was freaking. But the rest from the family, my wife and her family from Brazil, like her daughter and my wife's granddaughter, Valentina, and the quasi-grandson, but actually it's a grandson from my wife's sister, Yuri. He was also here, or is still here, until next Saturday together with Andresa and Valentina. And we did some, not too much stuff, but we enjoyed the snow. Luna enjoyed the snow. For Luna, water, our dog Luna, for her water and snow is like cocaine. She gets crazy as hell. So that was the private stuff I wanted quickly to tell about. And now let's get into the title of today's live stream. Numbers, more numbers, numbers, numbers. You can see, hold on, a link. That's not what I wanted. You can see a tweet I made. Adoption rate. Listen carefully. And I put the link to this tweet and the other tweet I want to talk about into the description of this live stream. And I quickly wanna go through that. And the second tweet I will show was basically kind of made me do a research a little bit more. Second tweet was about corridors. And actually, let's do it like that. Let's start with the second tweet. There was a guy, actually it was after a video from Crypto Erie, a guy responded, "Hi Erie, I checked in your tweet, but actually Nicholas answered that 20 countries could come online in 2020. Not just corridors. 20 countries would translate, if my math is correct, to 190 possible corridors." And I basically told him, I'm pretty sure currencies are corridors for Ripple. Ripple count differently than MoneyGram, as in your figures, because he was basically using the figures for MoneyGram. For MoneyGram, dollar Mexican peso is one corridor, dollar euro is one corridor, and euro Mexican peso is another corridor. In that example it's a bit stupid, because as you can see here, 3 currencies are actually 3 corridors. But as soon as we increase that number to 4 countries, then we would have already 6 corridors. But for Ripple, it's actually the currencies, not really the countries, really the currencies, because the euro system is one corridor for Ripple. And in that tweet, I gave proof from, actually I have to scroll up a little bit, from a video. I think I even made more than one proof. Hold on. Well, I just made that one proof here, but that's from Swell, and basically Brad Garlinghouse states here, currencies are corridors. So don't do any of this math here, but we will do that math, but in another way around, based on my other tweet I did. Okay, so that's important. Currencies are corridors. As soon as a new currency for ODL comes online, that means every already connected currency with ODL can immediately connect. That's very important to understand for you guys, to understand the network growth, and we will get into that by looking a little bit more closer at this tweet I made. And I don't remember what was the trigger for that, but while I was researching the proof for the other tweet regarding the corridors, that Ripple actually counts currencies as corridors, I don't know, something went on in my head, and then I did this tweet, and I will try to explain it now so that everyone understands it. And basically what I want to point out is the adoption rate. Okay, so RippleNet, maybe not under that name, but basically the technology exists since 2016. So 2016 to 18, 3 years, they had 200 customers. Okay, in 2019, in just one more year, they have 100 plus customers. Also already there you can see the exponential growth. Now, transaction volume. In my own reply to that tweet here is an excerpt, I think it's called, from the interview between Brad Garlinghouse and this Pompliano guy. And in that video he basically stated that for the last 8 consecutive quarters, they doubled their volume on transactions on RippleNet. That video took place in October 2019. Okay. Now at Swell, in that very video here, that's a month later. Okay. He stated that year over year they have an increase of 10x. Now if you do the math and you start with 1 and you double it, you get 2, you double it, you get 4, you double it, you get 8. Okay? So in October he would state that until the end of the year they would have 8 times the amount of transactions they had in 2018. But only a month later they could already state that the transaction volume increased 10x. So just that is for me already amazing, because basically it was just after the first month of the last quarter, and already it was more than like this 8 times more than in the first quarter of 2019. It was already after 1 month 10 times more basically. So that's really something which I think is quite important to understand, the acceleration. And now let's take another look at this table here. And I don't remember how I came across. I think it had to do as well with this statement in this video in this interview between Brad Garlinghouse and Pompliano, that they were approaching 1 million transactions. And now this is very important for you guys to understand. But you need to kind of apply your own logic to that. So in the left column I have listed the RippleNet customers in step increases of 10, from 10 to the 300 to the 300 plus customers. Okay, and then I have marked the connections, every 50 I marked, so that we can kind of compare a little bit. Okay, the formula is n times n minus 1 divided by 2. So 10 times 9 is 90, divided 2 gives us 45 connections at 10 RippleNet customers. For 20 it's basically 190, and so on and so forth. So it's, as you can see, the figure here is increasing drastically. So while we increase from 10 to 50 customers times 5, we increase on the connection side already like times 30 or so, and that gets even more crazy as we go down. And now comes a point which is really important for you to understand. Even though basically in theory every bank on RippleNet could and eventually will transact with every other bank, they cannot just do so. They still need to kind of, Navin Gupta called it, do their due diligence on the counterparty. Like, do some checks on whatever, I don't know what they have to check. But each bank has their documents, which their counterparties, like the bank which wants to connect with them, can check. And if all is good, they can basically connect pre-RippleNet home. That was kind of a manual and a very cumbersome task. Now, since RippleNet home, that's actually freaking simple, because RippleNet home is like Facebook for banks, someone said. So basically, they have like a dashboard in that RippleNet home website, where they even get suggestions that if they did connect with a bank, I don't know, this, I think it's called Siam Bank in Thailand, we heard a lot about in the last 2 days, which will bring out this new app with which all the Thailand people can send money abroad or from abroad to Thailand, whatever, with XRP eventually. And so now if a bank wants to connect with this Siam Bank, they just pull the record up, check those documents to make the due diligence process, and if they think it's all fine, then they kind of press a button, we want to get connected with you. Then Siam Bank does the same with them, checks those documents from the bank who wants to connect, in that case me. And if all is fine, they just click, I don't know, accept invitation or something, and then the connection is made. And until then, they cannot send transaction to that other bank. And that might be a reason why the network connections haven't been growing too strong. But let's just say with a very, very conservative, I mean, you know me. I usually tend to be really, really, really on the conservative side. Let's take 50 RippleNet customers and assume the other ones didn't take care yet or are more or less remittance companies which send basically money to themselves just in other countries, whatever, but that those 50 are really like the banks, right? The big guys. They would already have within themselves 1,000 connections. So if each of those 50 banks sends 1,000 transactions to each of the other 49 banks, excluding them obviously, then we would be close to that 1 million transactions per day. And even if it's less, I mean, it could be that to some banks you might send less transactions. Whatever, that's what I tell you. Do your own calculation. But you can see, if just 10 more banks would like connect to a few more banks, then we already have like 500 more connections. So that system is growing totally exponential, and for that this RippleNet home is totally, it's a freaking stroke of genius. Like telling the participating banks, look, if you connect to that bank you can save another, I don't know, 50 million per month or so. That's freaking great. And these connections, these will grow. This will not grow in those figures as in the columns here, because when we have 10 new banks, they might not connect with all the 50 banks which are in the system already. Not talking about like those smaller remittance company, whatever. But even if they just choose to have connections with like half of them, it's still an exponential growth in connections, and and that will also result in an exponential growth in transactions. And now when we start talking ODL, you basically should get the idea slowly that I mean, we heard from digital asset investor and investment perspectives, backup Bradley or Brad Kimes, that they overheard a banker talking that they basically are ready to send double or even more digit billions every day. And this will come. So that was basically my content. It was a bit more than 15 minutes as I usually do. Now I'm going quickly through the comments and stuff about the holidays I was talking. Browns, vielleicht morgen auf Deutsch. Mr. Penguin, ich bin kein Aargauer. Mein Dialekt ist eigentlich aus der Ostschweiz. Snow was good. Bad connection. I hope you can hear me now. Let's check. Excellent connection, it says here. Du musst mal zum Friseur. Hey, ich habe heute die Haare gewaschen. Ja, ein bisschen ein Schnitt wäre nicht schlecht. Danke, Andreas. Haircut mandatory. Okay. Marine style. Well, actually, you know my channel picture and my Twitter picture where I'm basically having like a 3mm haircut. But usually my wife lets me only do that in the summer when it's really warm. Hallo Richard. I'm really sorry, I cannot. Today are quite a lot of people, 120. I cannot greet everyone, but receive my warmest greetings. Actually, when I got out of the car here in Klingnau at the German border, very north part of Canton Aargau or Argovia, I thought, damn, is it spring already here? The difference in temperature here to the mountains is, I don't know, like 10 or more degrees. It's unbelievable. Danke, Richard, fürs Kompliment. Sir Gordon Gecko, if you're dead, Sir Gordon Gecko, please get out. I mean, I'm really not looking for followers like you. Really not. Danke, Richard. Dass du seine Nachrichten löschst. Need a big beer to give you a hug? Mr. Penguin, well, the Bears are not really reliable these days. Where did I read that? Ah, here. I'm really wondering what's up with SPI. I don't get it. Why we still cannot see any volume from there. Mr. Penguin, no, there is no point, no way to calculate when or for what the price would increase. Super, Steven. Actually, Mr. Penguin, it was Mike who got an invitation from Bob Ras, the CEO of Coinfield. I don't know how he managed to do that. He kind of begged, I don't know, to someone. Why they didn't invite Notorious, though I don't really know why Notorious should be invited to Swell. And interestingly, Bob Ras sent Mike an invitation code valid for 2 people. But from our WhatsApp group, no one could go, and Notorious himself also not. And then basically they asked me if I would be willing to go. And I talked to Richard, and then together we decided, yeah, let's do that. Exactly, Richard. I mean, one thing, I think I made another tweet in that series of tweets. Check. It's a bit. Well, basically, you can go to my profile and check my tweets and answers. And when you find these other 2 tweets, I have linked in the description. In that area there, I had another response to the market makers, because I think it was also with the same. Actually, can I show that? No, I cannot show right now, but it's also with the same kind of thumbnail from the interview with Brad and this Pompliano guy. And in there, Brad told that liquidity begets liquidity, which means as soon as liquidity starts to rise, more market makers will want to participate and will create more. It's like a little bit the stupid comparison, like a perpetuum mobile. Like one will drive. Liquidity will drive itself into even higher liquidity. And he basically even said in that very interview with Pompliano, as Brad Garlinghouse said, that there will be market makers in all shapes and sizes. And these new laws coming out or going into effect now in January, starting of January 2020, will, I'm 100% sure, exactly make that possible, that the big guys, hedge funds and stuff, will be able to get into the market making business. And that's basically what we're waiting for. But I also told in the live streams in December that this, until that really shows effect, it'll may take a few weeks, maybe even a few months. That's why I say maybe 4 digits by the end of June, somewhere around then. And I also told that the 2 digits by the end of January, which I right now don't think we will achieve, is pretty dependent on SPI showing volume. That bringing us already some like 50 or 100 or more percent rise, and then FOMO setting in and bringing us even higher. MJJL, well, basically the institutions themselves, they cannot just load up if I were an employee at UBS or something and I knew it would get big, I could tell my friends and my family to buy XRP. But UBS themselves cannot do that. And if they had done that, then we certainly would see already now different prices, because they will not buy 1,000 XRP. They will buy 10 million or 100 million XRP. And if you count that, I don't know, by 100 or so, 100 big banks and other financial, whatever, hedge funds, institutions, I mean, I don't know, how many is 100 times 100 million? 100 times 100. That's like 10 billion. So there we would already see quite some volume, and maybe even 100 million is basically nothing for them. I mean, they would really buy big time. Really. I mean, GeoXRP, what do you mean by processors are using ODL? Like exchanges offering, well, basically each new corridor. But Navin Gupta told me they will not really announce that, like, we now opened Thailand corridor, so it will just happen. We might hear that from a bank in a particular country that they're now using ODL, and then we might know. But we might not know if it's a country which has 10 exchanges offering XRP. We might even then not know which exchange is actually participating in ODL. Fly XRP, forget concierge. They are literally, every link I receive from them is crap. Total fucking crap. And actually, all of those crypto news sites are crap. They have freaking no clue. They get the stuff always wrong. I've seen the paper, well, actually I slid over it over this paper from DTCC from the February 24th. However, crypto server, that still would mean that there would be enough liquidity, and could be that actually we start seeing that before. I mean, if they really like there are more kind of how do you say, implies that they will use XRP for the security settlement in the DTCC system, then they would need quite a lot of liquidity. And I mean, if that's really the idea, that they will go live end of February, maybe in about a month and 2 weeks we'll reach already. What are the chances the 200 million is for? I don't think so. XRP run. I mean, basically it's not a loan. Basically it's the 200 million Series C funding Ripple received is basically cash. It's not a loan. They can use that. What they will do in return is they will pay a dividend to the additional, if there are additional shareholders of Ripple. And if it's from existing shareholders, then those will have received more shares for those 200 million Ripple received, which will eventually also give them more dividends in the end. I mean, the higher, I don't know how the Richard tried at Swell with a lot of people to figure out actually how crypto will be kept in the books. And actually, I think, Richard, maybe you correct me, but I think only one person had a decent reply, and all others had basically no clue. And that's the reason why he asked, because we also don't have no clue how cryptos are kind of kept in the books, in the accounting. And why did I want to say that? And I mean, because Ripple has the 50 billion, and if XRP actually does rise to 2, 3, maybe 4 digits, that could make Ripple the company a freaking expensive, like, could make Ripple immediately more valuable than Amazon and Apple maybe together. I mean, but then what we also don't know is, even if Ripple had that value in the future, depending on whatever, how crypto is to be kept on the books, then they might see from IMF or World Bank or BIS or whatever other organization some restrictions on selling. I mean, the power to be, as it's usually called, PTB, those, whatever you think they are, Rothschild or whatever other group of rich people or important institutions like the Fed, I mean, certainly they will not want Ripple to have, I don't know, quadrillions of possible cash. That they certainly would not allow. But it could be, I mean, in the past I have been sending out a tweet about this wallet where each escrow amount is transferred to, and this wallet from which one released escrow XRP can be sent to someone. It's a multi-signature wallet with 8 keys, and it needs, I think, if I remember properly, 4 signatures as for a transaction to be processed successfully. And RippleNet committee, I think, has 6 banks on it. I don't remember which ones. Bank of America, Westpac, Santander, Standard Chartered, SBI most likely, I don't remember, and MUFG maybe, and Ripple itself. But this leaves 1/8 key open, and that whichever institution might have that 8th key might keep kind of a control on the actual XRP sold. And even if XRP from escrow is released, or I mean released, it's anyway every month, but sold, I mean, let's assume XRP is at $1,000. Maybe IMF or whatever of these institutions tell Ripple you cannot sell for more than $50 or something. Well, we don't know what happened behind. So I'm pretty sure there will be certain measures which make it impossible for Ripple to basically like cash out. I mean, they anyway wouldn't be able to cash out quadrillions, but I guess you know what I want to talk about. What do you think of the CEO of R3? I didn't actually check that interview, comedian Chuck Real. But I saw some tweets about it, and one guy stupidly tweeted about, I think it was also about transactions. I think that CEO stated, I don't know, like that transactions on Corda platform will be in the, I don't know, double-digit billions or so. And that other stupid idiot thought, oh, then it means that we will see double-digit XRP transactions. That's not the case. Please understand, Corda R3 is not just payments. It's actually, payments is actually so much from such a pile of solutions they offer. It's peanuts compared to the rest of the solutions they offer. And each and every like when you type a comment in the live chat, that's basically a transaction. And all these transactions together will be this, I don't know, double-digit million transaction. But that will not be XRP. And anyway, my thinking is, and I'm differing here 180 degrees from everyone else in the space, I don't think Corda Settler will ever be used by the big guys. Why? Because it doesn't respect privacy. And I don't know whom explained it recently. I think it was even David Schwartz himself. I mean, he basically said in a reply to a tweet that he isn't really into the Corda Settler. He doesn't really know how it works, but basically it's like from wallet to wallet. And that's exactly what the banks don't want. They don't, as soon as I send, I don't know, Frank Bauer here in the live chat, 500 XRP, he will know how many I have if I'm sending it from my personal wallet. That's why I would tell you guys, do never send another person from your wallet. Send it first to an exchange, into this pool wallet from the exchange, and from there to the recipient, because then the recipient cannot know how many XRP you actually have. Okay? If, however, I would send Frank Bauer 500 XRP from my personal wallet, he would immediately know how many. He could open BitHump Explorer and check my wallet, because he would know the sending public address. And that's definitely not something anyone wants. XRP. Hi, Raf. Hi, I think it's you, Raf, right? XRPs. I'm pretty sure you are. Exactly. I come back to you, Raf, in a minute. I was talking about Corda Settler and this whole, this whole Corda Settler thing. It just doesn't respect privacy. Banks will not want that. And actually, I don't know anyone who would want their transactions being visible on something public. That's why ODL is the perfect solution, because it hides everything. This ODL transaction, this utility scan tool does, is basically just comparing sending from one exchange to another with actual executed buy orders on the receiving exchange, and if those kind of match in a certain range, then the tool assumes it's an ODL transaction. But where that money, the received money from the buyer on the receiving exchange, where that money goes to, we have no clue. We don't know. That's privacy, and that's how it should work. I don't believe R3 will ever play a role, but as I said, I'm basically most likely the only person in the whole XRP community who does think so exactly. Okay, now to Raf. Raf made me cheer up. This week I was really, like, I hit a little bit too much on Sam I Am and others, and I received two really nice direct messages from a guy. The way he wrote, I mean, I'm not really religious, but the way he wrote it was like words from a priest, and it really touched me. And I tweeted out, kind of, I don't know, help me to deal with it. And then Raf basically answered that we should make a bet. And actually, let me quickly pull up that tweet, because I put it just a few moments before into my bookmarks so that I can find it. I think bookmarks are here. And genau. And Raf's bet was, how about the friendly bet of 200 XRP? 5 digits before the end of 2024. Because I think I replied on another tweet where someone again told that 10,000 is idiotic, stupid, and I said it's not idiotic. I believe that as well in 2025, 2026 or so. And Raf then replied that would make it under 5 years by the end of 24. And basically, we are in direct message contact already, Raf and me, and I will try to figure that out properly. But if Raf agrees, what we will do is we will use XRP Tipbot to send each, like him and me, 200 XRP into the same, if that's possible, escrow wallet. If it's not possible, into individual ones. But each escrow, you need to kind of tell into which wallet the XRP should be sent once the escrow is released. And my idea was to use a multi-signature wallet, so that Raf and me together could decide whom would receive those. Actually, my proposal to him would be to send whatever the price is, end of 2024, the 400 XRPs. I mean, for me, 200 is basically nothing right now. And even if it's then 2 million, I still don't care. I will propose that to him, and I will propose how we could deal that, and if we figure out the nice charity together who will receive that money, then basically what we could give them is just the master key of that multi-signature wallet, and that institution, that charity, could then create 2 new signature keys, disable our one, so that we will not be able to send the XRP out of that wallet anymore. And because it's 2, it's basically like SOX compliant. Not just the CFO from that charity or whatever could run with the XRP. It would always be required the 2 signatures. So that's basically what Raf offered to me, and I'm sure we will find a nice solution, and I will keep you updated once the time is ready. And now I have to continue with the questions. By the way, Richard thinks that the small pump in the past few days is based on an increase of new accounts. I think it's the other way around. I think the new accounts were created because of the pump. But I mean, whatever it is, it's like laughable, 15%, and the day after -5%. I mean, hi Vincent, I think 5k XRP will be life changing already. For most of us, you will be able to stop to work. MJJL, I'm pretty sure the Olympics in Japan will make high use of XRP. As you mentioned properly, there will be lots of payment, but I do not believe that they will advertise that during the Olympics. I mean, if UBS or another one of these big shot guys makes an advertisement at a sport event, they will not tell you we're using SEPA or whatever other technology to send money. They will tell you how easy it is to send money. But the plumbing beneath, no one's interested. XRP run, I don't believe in TA at all. So no, I don't believe in Mr. Level Up cycle pattern. Hi Notorious, what an honor to have you on my channel. Amit Bentaleb, don't worry about the burn rate. I mean, at the current burn rate, I think I read just not so long time back, it'd take, I don't know, about 100 years or so until there would be no XRP anymore. And they could always adjust the burn rate. I mean, they could reduce that. And I'm pretty sure at 4 digits XRP price, they will reduce that. Soligen, there will be no bull run. Bull run for me is something which is based on speculation. That's why I don't like that word for XRP. XRP, and this is something you have to tattoo on your front head, is a different beast, guys. We will not see... Oh. So... I don't know what the last thing was you heard. Danke, Manuel. I was talking to this Soligen guy, I guess, or woman, I don't know. She or he was asking, how high can this bull run go? And my answer was, basically, I don't like that term bull run for XRP, because bull run is just based on speculation. And it kind of also a little bit implies that every other coin will have the same increase, which I don't believe. For sure, there will be many other coins which will see increases, but not in the factors XRP will see. And the increase in price of XRP will be digits away from whatever other coin will see. And this is why I don't like that term bull run for XRP. It'll not be based on speculation anymore. Soligen24 has an interesting question. When will ILP be implemented? That's actually... I know where you want to get what you want to hear, and that's why I think it's an intelligent question. But on the other hand, it's also a stupid question, and stupid it is because ILP cannot be implemented. If if I answer your question like you asked it to me, then the answer is it cannot be kind of implemented. ILP is a standard, it's a protocol. ILP can be the protocol can be used, and the team around Ripple, they had an ILP summit somewhere in the middle of last year with the target to have 1,000 nodes running by the end of 2019. Now, if they achieved that, honestly I have no clue. But recently, and I think that was, and I mean, I really don't want to give any, I don't know, flowers to Sam I am, but that one video he made recently about this, I think, was it Kava Labs, or I think, no, actually I think it was like that. He was talking about an interledger, I don't know, community call, and there was one bank, or what, not the bank, but there was one company showing a really freaking clever solution about a tool they implemented based on ILP. And I think that will come, SolidGen 24, but I think until really Internet of Value, that vision from Ripple is, I don't know, fully completed or so, it'll take years. But it'll not take years until XRP will moon. But until you, SolidGen 24X, could send me money now in the live chat of YouTube, that will take years. And maybe you would want to send it to my WhatsApp wallet here on YouTube. That all these integrations will work, that will take years. But for sure they're starting that whole ILP thing, or they did start that whole ILP thing already now. Actually, we don't know, maybe that's also a reason why Swift GPI has so little transactions or so little volume compared with the the old Swift system. Maybe the top, I don't know, those top 100 banks which are not on RippleNet decided to go down the ILP way. And I mean, as long as they're using Nostros, that's totally fine. But eventually they will want to use a bridge asset and get rid of the Nostros as well. That could be another explanation why the Swift GPI volume is like only 20% of the kind of is it called reminiscent Swift, like the legacy Swift system. Could be, I really don't know. But even if so, eventually that will show effects on XRP price eventually. Julian Hosp is an asshole. I have checked one or two of his videos and he's really a stupid person. Nobody really. Yes, we will see big moves this year. Excellent. So, when RippleNet will merge together with ILP, I really don't know. From what I think I even received a tweet from David Schwartz about 1.5 years ago or so, where he stated that this is not part of the current product kind of plan, but eventually it might be able to be achieved. Brexit will not have an effect, I'm pretty sure. Morons, totally morons. Can you please have a look ante Bentelab? Let me check. I think. Can you explain? Well, the burn rate I already explained. Ante. Where are you? Bentaleb, genau. I hope. If not, please ask it again on Twitter or in the comment of that video. We're getting close to an hour and I'm almost at the bottom. Okay. Blue Sky 77, that's basically what I meant. I mean, the Soligen 24, don't get me wrong about your question about ILP. I didn't want to tell you that you're stupid when I told that your question is both intelligent and a bit stupid. And the stupid thing is, the part why the question was stupid is because most people don't understand. And similar, the Blue Skies 77 does not understand. Please check my videos about ILP. ILP is a protocol. You will never know who will be using ILP. Same as you will never know. I mean, assuming there would be three mail standards to send mails, you wouldn't know which institution uses which standard. The mail will arrive or not. Check my videos. I pretty clearly explained what ILP is, what the protocol is. Soligen 24, as I said before, R3 Corda. I don't think that there will be any benefits for XRP at all, because transactions on Corda settler do not respect privacy. Marvin, yes, transactions on RippleNet ODL are visible on XRP ledger, but it'll be just between the exchanges where the fiat goes, and that's the important part. No one knows, or where the fiat comes from. And that's the stroke of genius from this ODL, as it's called now, because it's basically kind of like putting like a firewall between the banks, and this firewall is the exchanges. So between the exchanges everything is public, but behind those firewalls, the exchanges, you have no clue whom sent and who received the transaction. Siegfried Thoma. Please check my video about ILP. Hyperledger is just a framework, similar as Corda. Corda Settler is just one application on Corda platform, and just the Corda Settler can settle payments with XRP. Every other application on Corda cannot do that, and there is literally so many Corda Settler compared to so many other applications on Corda. And the same applies to Hyperledger. Hyperledger Quilt, which is like an API connection to ILP, is just that much of Hyperledger. It's like Hyperledger is way more. It doesn't mean that a blockchain built on Hyperledger actually will use Hyperledger Quill. So last question, And while I'm waiting for that, I'm hoping, please watch those figures again at the beginning, in the first 15 minutes. Try to think a little bit about it. Try to give me feedback. I want to thank you for your persistence, for your trust, for your... With some of you, I would say I created friendships already. Now, stay tuned. I personally have a pretty good feeling. We're not far away from riches. Is it called like that? Exponential. Don't worry about the TPS. I think they removed it because it was a buggy feature. Also, the price of XRP was, like someone told me, like every few days it was like at 45 cents. It's just a bug, and as long as they cannot fix that, they rather remove it. So if you want to have TPS, go to the... Hold on. The link is XRP. I think it's called Live. No. XR. I don't remember the link. Does someone remember that? I have it somewhere. That link with the transactions. XRPL.org. Is it maybe that one? LiveNet XRPL. Okay, now I got it. So I will paste that link. However, on that site you will not see transactions. Well, what they state is kind of an average transaction per second. And if you check those ledgers created, actually something really interesting is happening. Usually there is between 1 and 3 created at the seconds 0, 1 and 2, like 21 hours, 20 minutes, 0 seconds, 1 seconds, 2 seconds, and then after another 7 seconds, like at the next 10 increase. It's really interesting, and I think that's due to the fact that after every 10 seconds, in that case, that the actual validators have to kind of synchronize as well again. So sometimes you have like 2 or 3 ledgers within 3 seconds, and then for about 7 seconds no ledger, because they need to do more work until they can agree on the next ledger. And sometimes it's within 10 seconds just 1 ledger at 0, second 0 or second 10, and then at second 20 this next ledger. It's an interesting thing, so check it out. You're welcome, Raf. I'm really happy I met you. It's really nice to know you. And with that, I really hope that I answered everything. Otherwise, please write me on Twitter at ipinky77 or leave a comment on this video. And most likely, depending on our plans tomorrow, I might do a German, maybe not just an hour, maybe a little bit less, just to get through the figures I talked about today. And then starting next week, I will have my regular live streams on Tuesday, 8 o'clock Central European Time in English, and that Thursday, 8 o'clock Central European Time in German. Many thanks and take care. See you soon. Hodl. Stay strong. I am so damn confident that we are not far away from our financial freedom.